Hello, boys and girls. Our story today comes from Africa, and it's called A Story, a Story, retold by GAIL HALE. Remember, when it's retold, it means that it's been told over and over and over, and they usually don't know who told the story in the very beginning. The main character in this story is called Spider-Man. And here's Spider-Man. Once, O small children round my knee, there were no stories on earth to hear. All the stories belonged to Nyame, the sky god. He kept them in a golden box next to his royal stool. Anansi, the Spider-Man, wanted to buy the sky god's stories, so he spun a spider web up to the sky. When the sky god heard what Anansi wanted, he laughed. Tweet, tweet, tweet! The price of my stories that you bring me, Osibo, the leopard of the terrible teeth, Mbaro, the hornet who stings like fire, and Mosha, the fairy whom men never see. Anansi bowed and answered, I shall gladly pay the price. And here's little old Anansi. Tweet, 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 chuckled the sky god. How can a weak old man like you, so small, so small, so small, pay my price? But Anansi merely climbed down to earth to find the things that the sky god demanded. Anansi ran along the jungle path, Uridi, 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 till he came to Osibo, the leopard of the terrible teeth. Oh ho, Anansi, said the leopard, you are just in time to be my lunch. Anansi replied, as for that, what will happen will happen. But first, let us play the binding game. The leopard, who was fond of games, asked, how is it played? With vine creepers, explained Anansi. I will bind you by your foot, and then I will untie you, and you can tie me up. Very well, growled the leopard, who planned to eat Anansi as soon as it was his turn to bind him, which means to tie him up. So Anansi tied the leopard up by his foot, by his foot, by his foot, by his foot, with the vine creeper. Then he said, now, Osibo, you are ready to meet the sky god. And he hung the tied up leopard in a tree in the jungle. Next, Anansi cut a frond from a banana tree and filled a calabash with water. He crept through the tall grasses, Sora, 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 till he came to the nest of Mbaro, the hornets who sting like fire. Anansi held the banana leaf over his head like an umbrella. Then he poured some of the water into the calabash over his head. And here's the rest he emptied over the hornet's nest and cried, it is raining, raining, raining. Should you not fly into my calabash so that the rain will not tatter your wings? Thank you, hummed the hornets, and they flew into the calabash. Fum! Anansi quickly stopped the mouth of the gourd. Now, Mumbaro, you are ready to meet the sky god. And he hung the calabash full of hornets onto the tree next to the leopard. Anansi now carved a little wooden doll holding a bowl. Here's the doll. He covered the doll from top to bottom with sticky, rubbery gum. Then he filled the doll's bowl with pounded yams. Now, yams are like sweet potatoes. He set the little doll at the foot of the flamboyant tree where fairies like to dance. Here's the doll, here's the bowl, and here comes the fairy. In a little while, Mumosha, the fairy whom no man sees, came dancing, dancing, dancing to the foot of the flamboyant tree, and there she saw a doll holding the bowl of yams. Mumosha said, "Gum, baby, I'm hungry. May I eat some of your yams?" Anansi pulled the vine in hiding that was holding to the doll's head, and it looked as though the doll was breaking its head up and down. So the fairy took the bowl from the doll and ate all the yams. "Thank you, Gum Baby," said the fairy. But the doll did not answer this time. "Don't you reply when I thank you?" cried the angered fairy. The doll did not move. "Gum Baby, I'll slap your crying place unless you answer me," shouted the fairy. But the wooden doll remained still and silent. So the fairy slapped her crying place. Pah! Her hand stuck fast to the Gum Baby's sticky cheek. "Let go of my hand, or I'll slap you again. Pop!" So she slapped the doll's crying place with her other hand. Now the fairy was stuck to the Gum Baby with both hands, and she was furious. She pushed against the doll with her feet, and they also stuck fast. Now Anansi came out of hiding. "You are ready to meet the sky god, Mumosha." And he carried her to the tree where the leopard and the hornets were waiting. Now here's the leopard, here's the fairy, and here are the hornets in that calabash. Anansi spun a web around Osibo, Mbaro, and Mumosha. Then he spun a web to the sky. He pulled up his captives behind him and set them down at the feet of the sky god. "Oh, Nyame," said Anansi, bowing low, "here is the price you ask for your stories. Osibo, the leopard of the terrible teeth, Mbaro, the hornets who sting like fire, and Mumosha, the fairy whom men never see." The sky god called together all the nobles of his court and said to them, "Little Anansi, the Spider-Man, has paid me the price that I ask for my stories. Sing his praise as I command you." "From this day and going on forever," proclaimed the sky god, "my stories belong to Anansi and shall be called spider stories." "Ee, ee, ee," shouted all the nobles. And so Anansi took the golden box of stories back to earth, to the people of his village. And when he opened the box, all the stories scattered to the corners of the world, including this one where we live. And this is my story, which I have told to you. If it be sweet, or if it be not sweet, take some elsewhere, and let some come back to me. And that's the legend, the folktale of how the stories came to earth. And I will see you in my next story. Bye-bye, boys and girls.